Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who is an expected 2024 presidential hopeful, is breaking his silence on Trump's legal troubles and the looming indictment. DeSantis calling the Manhattan District Attorney's investigation politically motivated and vowing that his office won't get involved if the matter reaches his state, though it's not expected to. At the same time, though, he made a point of highlighting the conduct at the heart of the investigation.
I don't know what goes into paying hush money to a porn star to secure silence over some type of alleged affair. I can't speak to that. But what I can speak to is that if you have a prosecutor who is ignoring crimes happening every single day in his jurisdiction, and he chooses to go back many, many years ago to try to use something about porn star hush money payments, that's an example of pursuing a political agenda and weaponizing the office.
So, he was getting asked that question by a reporter, but he had been facing some pressure from Trump's allies.
Yeah.
Why haven't you said anything about this? Because we saw a lot of other Republicans weighing in as soon as on Saturday, and DeSantis didn't weigh until yesterday. But notable, he got criticized for that by Donald Trump Jr., who said he thought he was minimizing it.
And so his response was a little shady, right?
Yeah, he didn't have to point out.
He did not have to point out.
It's the heart of this.
The obvious, yeah. Well, House Republicans trying to intervene to defend, ahead of this Donald Trump, a possible indictment here. House Judiciary Chairman Jim Jordan and two other committee chairs are demanding testimony from Manhattan's district attorney. It's an extraordinary move because Alvin Bragg doesn't work for the federal government. He's a local prosecutor, and this isn't a federal case. In a letter, the chairman accused Bragg of unprecedented abuse of prosecutorial authority. Congressman Jim Jordan, though, admits that he doesn't actually know the full scope of potential charges.
But you don't know what the charges that he gets.
No, we're going what you guys have told us. Yeah. I mean, that's all been reported.
Aren't you jumping to conclusions? I mean, he may have broken the law. Is that concerning?
We don't think President Trump broke the law at all. But what concerns me is what they're going to do based on what's been reported. That's why I sent out the letter.
Yeah, it's interesting that they're making all of these comments and they don't even know what's going to happen, if there's even going to be an indictment. So that's why we turn to CNN's Melanie Zanona live in Orlando, where House Republicans are having their annual retreat. So I'm sure she's got information on that. Good morning to you, Melanie. What's the latest?
Good morning to you, Don, from chilly Orlando. But House Republicans are turning up the heat on the Manhattan District Attorney's Office ahead of a possible Trump indictment. Three committee chairmen yesterday fired off a letter to Alvin Bragg. They are seeking both documents and his testimony by March 23rd. They want to know whether federal funds were used to investigate Donald Trump over this hush money payment to Stormy Daniels. And they also want to know whether there was any communication between the Manhattan DA office and between the Department of Justice. I want to read you part of the letter where they explain some of their reasoning. They wrote, "Your decision to pursue such a politically motivated prosecution requires congressional scrutiny about how public safety funds appropriated by Congress are implemented by local law enforcement agencies." Now, Republicans admit they don't have any knowledge of whether federal funds are actually used in these sorts of cases. And they also admit they don't know the full scope of the charges that Trump might be facing. So it really shows the extraordinary lengths that House Republicans are willing to go to defend Trump and to try to discredit this investigation.
Is pressing Bragg something the entire GOP agrees on here? I mean, could they be jumping the gun since they don't know? As I said, they don't know if charges will even be filed, Melanie.
Right, Don. We've actually been asking that exact question to Republicans here at their policy retreat. So far, I've only talked to one Republican, Don Bacon, who represents a Biden district, who said it would be more appropriate to wait until they see the actual indictment. But most Republicans are defending this effort to intervene in an ongoing criminal probe. Again, a very extraordinary and unprecedented move. Speaker Kevin McCarthy, in a pad and pad with reporters yesterday, said they have a right to ask questions. Scott Perry, the chairman of the House Freedom Caucus, told me they don't need to wait because they see the writing on the wall here. But Democrats see this as an abuse of power, a waste of congressional resources. And the Manhattan District Attorney's Office said they will not be intimidated by any effort to interfere in the justice system. Don.